Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com. Well, that's a little more like it. Welcome to Got Your Back. Oilers with a shutout victory on Hall of Fame night over Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Jesse Puljujarvi, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Feel like their game has been building a little bit and definitely hit on a few more cylinders tonight. Rob Brown, Jason Strudwick are standing by. We're going to break it down, and we are coming at you from our Adrenaline Diesel studio. Now with an online store for all your diesel truck parts and needs. Make sure you check them out online. It is adrenalinediesel.ca. And as always, the podcast is brought to you by our great title sponsor, Play Alberta. When you gamble, use your game sense, right? Play Alberta makes it easy to set deposit limits, time limits, and more, so you can play casino games and bet on sports safely, securely, responsibly. Everything you need to know is at playalberta.ca. We'll get right into it with Rob Brown, who didn't have to do the post-game show tonight, was able to get home right away, as was I. So 3 of us in studio. Good to see you, boys. Not to make you jealous right off the top, but we're sampling some new swag. And I got this one going here. I got the Under Armour Got Your Back hoodie going. So
sharp, very, very sharp.
Just a few samples. You know, there'll be some stuff
very
coming
nice.
your way eventually. We're trying a few different things. So, Struddy,
Cool.
I know it's not purple like you love, but coming to an online store near you.
I can dye those. I can dye it purple. No problem.
You
Do
wouldn't.
anything.
You would not.
I
We're going to get to Craig McTavish. Had a great chat with him earlier today. Inducted into, of course, the Oilers Hall of Fame, along with Dr. Randy Gregg. Great ceremony tonight. Lots of former Oilers on hand. It was a really good day. Maybe before we get to breaking this game down, Brownie, because you won't be around for the segment where we run that interview from Mac T. Any Mac T stories, or what's your sense of the man and your thoughts on him and Randy Gregg going up today?
Well, it's funny. I loved him as a player. Obviously, the last dude ever to play hockey without a helmet. The fact that he can still talk nowadays is from the era that he played in. But as a person, you're not going to meet a nicer person. He's a guy that when I'm at Studio 99 doing the show, if he's there, he always comes over, shakes hands, says hi. And he's one of the guys. There's a lot of people, talking heads in podcasts, on TV, on radio, doing sports, doing hockey in Canada. He's one of those guys that when he talks, I listen. I learn when Craig McTavish talks. I think he's incredibly underused in any media market, because when Craig McTavish is on a TV set or if he's on a radio, I'm listening because I'm going to learn something in that segment. So he was tough to play against. I've done lots. Me and Struds have done a lot of celebrity or charity events with him. I've never seen him lose a face-off, even in those events. He wins every face-off. And Randy Gregg, don't know him very well, but I knew that when you played against him, he was steady. He just never made mistakes, and could be one of the reasons he was around for 5 Stanley Cups with the Edmonton Oilers.
Mm-hmm. Struds?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with Randy. And I got to meet him at I think another one of the retirement events. And I stayed in a box with him for the whole game. And I loved Randy Gregg growing up. I respect him so much. And he's such a nice man. And I've gotten to know him a little bit through the baseball, the team he's involved with, and going down there, and I see him every now and then. So he's just a genuine, great guy that cares about the city and a great player. Then Mac T, I had him as a coach, and he's just a fantastic guy, but he's so funny. I don't think people understand. He's one of the funniest guys I know, best sense of humor, and really dry. And I loved when he spent some time with them. Just a great guy. So 2 well-deserving guys that head up to the Ring of Honor. Pretty awesome.
Absolutely. Just to lay out the podcast here, we're going to do the breakdown, get into the game. Then we'll do Brownie Points and Struddy's World. Then we'll let you go to bed, Brownie, because I know you got to get your beauty rest. We'll have our Mac T interview in our takeaways segment. And then ask us anything as well, because we're live on YouTube and on Twitter as always. Got a great audience here on hand. So send Chris Zuby your questions via Ask Us Anything on the YouTube or Twitter chat. And we'll get to some of those coming up a little bit later. But overall, really much needed therapeutic night for a few elements of the Edmonton Oilers, guys. Let's get to breaking it down. Brought to you by the Alberta Ram Dealers. The Cross Country Canada Clearout is here at your Alberta Ram dealer. Get 15% off MSRP on 2024 Ram 1500 DT Bighorn trucks. That's over $9,900 in discounts for this fantastic looking beast of a vehicle. Visit your Alberta Ram dealer today. Slow build over the last few games, guys. Not perfect, but kind of a slow build. And I know the quality of competition wasn't as high as it's been on previous nights. Definitely, Brownie, we can get into that for sure. But overall, I thought it was just a night where a bunch of things came together. The Oilers stuck with it long enough for it to really click. I think a lot of things can get somewhat remedied on a confidence-building night like tonight.
I agree. I think the Penguins, watching them play, they are terrible. Like, seriously, they are terrible. Like, half the players look like they didn't care. I mean, turning the puck over, terrible changes, all those things. But anyways, I thought the Oilers dominated. And the problem for the Oilers tonight, they outshoot, was it 19-5 in the first period? I think the shots were something like that, and nothing to show for it. And a lot of times it's that one bounce that comes back the other way, and all of a sudden you're looking up and you're dominating a game, but you're losing. And the second period comes out, they're still dominating. They're getting all these chances. And in the past, we've seen where the Oilers, then they start pressing, and then they start forcing plays. They didn't. They kept pushing forward, but kept playing good defensive hockey, so that there weren't the big mistakes where you dominate. Oh, big mistake. Here comes an odd man, break you down 1-0. So I think, as you said, they stuck with it. And I think that is a good step for them going forward, is they can play really, really well in the offensive zone, yet they're not giving up anything defensively. I thought they were excellent in this game. I thought Stuart Skinner, in a game where your team dominated, he came up with about 4 or 5 big saves at good moments, because he was quiet in his end for a long time. So, yeah, I think this was certainly a game that they can build off of, and players like Nugent Hopkins and Arvidsson and Podkolzin and Hyman and Bouchard all got points tonight. And now they don't have to look at the score sheet and see zeros beside their names. I think that's important going forward into this road trip. Struds?
What stood out to you, Struds?
I believe the Penguins had their rookie party Wednesday night in Calgary, because I've seen, if they didn't care, that would be an upgrade on what I saw out there tonight. There was 2-on-1s and 3-on-1s out of the Oilers zone. I don't even know how the Oilers got them. It's like the defenseman or the forward just stopped and say, you know what? Forget it. I'm burning something out. There had to have been something. There had to be a rookie party on Wednesday, and I hate to throw the guys under the bus, but there was nothing in that group at all. But the Oilers, I thought they really played well. I liked the way they played and worked the puck kind of in their half-court offense. You know, we saw that a lot as they got going last year. D-men pinching down, forwards working around and kind of out-muscling along the wall. Like, that's playoff hockey, and I love that kind of hockey. It doesn't mean it's unskilled. It just means you're holding the puck down low and making plays. So I thought it was a great night. Arvidsson, Hyman, both deserved a lot of points tonight. Unfortunately for Hyman, only one of them got points. But I think Hyman's going to come. He's going to come, and the boys are feeding him all night long. Feed them probably like Penguins are feeding themselves the drinks Wednesday night. There's no way they didn't have something happen.
Struts, I don't think the rookie party was Wednesday night. I think it was this afternoon that the Penguins had their rookie party. I mean, that might have been the worst display of hockey I've seen. It was horrible. Like that. Actually, the way they played today is a way a team plays when they're trying to get their coach fired. That's how bad I thought the Penguins were today.
But didn't they play that way last year when they came through? Remember we talked about how bad it was? Like,
Evgeny Malkin was the worst player I'd ever seen last year. Like, he turned the puck over about 20. Tonight it was Erik Karlsson. Oh my God, how bad has he gotten in the last year and a half since he won the Norris? So it was disappointing because you only get Pittsburgh in once a year, and those superstars come here. Tonight was not the night of superstars. Tonight was the night of a bunch of other players, role players, playing big parts, especially for the Edmonton Oilers.
Careful, Brownie. You're going to get that alumni card pulled, buddy. If this podcast trickles back into the greater Pittsburgh area.
I got an email today from the Dallas Stars inviting me. It's their 30th anniversary. They're inviting all alumni back. They're bringing us all in. I played one game for the Dallas Stars.
Must have
I
been
don't
a
even
good
know how
one.
they had my. I don't know how they had my email. We didn't even have computers when I played my one game with Dallas. So I'm going, of course.
First class. I only travel front of the
Absolutely.
bus, but I'll be there for you. That's awesome. So, okay, enough about how bad Pittsburgh was. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we saw from Edmonton that maybe they can build off of moving forward. So, Struds, maybe, I don't know, start with the defensive side of the game. Not that Pittsburgh pushed a lot, but anytime you pitch a shutout, your goalie gets a shutout, you give nothing up at the other end, and you have a night where, your blue liners at no point are really having to shake their heads. I think probably meaningful for those guys, and a night where, Nurse again steps up. So a decent night from the rear guards.
Yeah, I think it was good. And I think that they did a good job of kind of just taking away the space of Pittsburgh, and not that they were flying around, but they were standing up. And for a guy like Emberson, I think he really needed this. Stetcher, I thought he made some nice plays, kind of moving the puck and getting up and down. So those are the kind of guys, Ekholm gets on the scoreboard. Bouchard, very nice goal where he has patience. The guy slides in front, patience, just toe drags a little bit and whips it. So Darnell Nurse had the big fight. Kulak was kind of understated, but that's not a bad thing. I don't think his job is meant to be really loud. So I think all six of them had a good night in their own way. And I think that's important for those guys because they haven't had a lot of, quote unquote, moral victories as we look past over the last, 8 games.
Brownie's got nothing to say about the D.
Well, they were never tested. I don't even think they were in their zone. I think two of the defensemen went straight from their equipment to the car. They didn't need to shower tonight. There was nothing. I think up front, though, I thought the Oilers rolled lines, and I think that was important. I know that at the end of the first period, I think Connor Brown talked about it. He said, we're continuing the momentum. So it's one line comes off, the next line carries on. And when you have four lines playing well, then you can roll them. And now you start out-changing the opposition. I thought everyone played well up front. I thought the Derek Ryans and the Corey Perry's and the Connor Browns and Arvidsson, I thought it was a strong night from everyone up front. They just continued to pressure the Penguins shift after shift that they had no answer. So at the end of the night, in a game where you look at all these Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers, they weren't the ones that you noticed. I think there's a lot of role players for the Oilers tonight that looked very, very good. And I think that bodes well for the Oilers as they move forward.
So let's get to Victor Arvidsson here. He's pretty consistently next to Leon Draisaitl. And I know they haven't given that Skinner Draisaitl Arvidsson line a lot of looks, but Arvidsson has been the one that they're trying to let it click with. And it seemed to me, and it was a good offensive night from Arvidsson, could make the argument he was probably their best forward, or one of them for sure. It seemed to me tonight that clicked in a different way. Like, I was watching Draisaitl really closely out there when the Oilers were getting all those chances and not scoring, and you're just watching to see kind of how it's going. And, Leon likes to fade into the spots in the offensive zone. He always fades out to that wall looking for that. And I feel like Arvidsson hasn't really figured out how to get him that puck in those spots that Leon likes to be, that are maybe a little unorthodox. I think tonight he did. He hit him on the wall at least once or twice, where earlier before, I don't think he was finding him there. They click. He picks up some assists. And I asked Chris Knobloch about that postgame. Zuby, do we have that clip from Knobloch?
I do.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here. Just about the idea that Arvidsson clicked a little better with Draisaitl tonight, and there was something there with that line. Here's Chris Knobloch.
Well, maybe there was a little more room tonight for them to find each other, but also, I think a lot of credit to Podkolzin. I thought he played a really good game, going to the net, using his body to create a little more space. But obviously, I think there's some chemistry with Leon and Arby. Hopefully, we can build on that.
What did you see from, that duo, but that line tonight, Brownie? It seemed different to me, again, given the competition.
Well, and I think it's repetition and Arvidsson playing a little bit more with Draisaitl. When you play with a great player, it's not easy because they think the game differently. So if Arvidsson was playing with Adam Henrique, he plays a different kind of game because Henrique plays like a normal hockey player. Leon doesn't. So Arvidsson, all of a sudden, when he's looking up, he's got the puck. Well, you're supposed to be over there, but he's not. So you got to find him. And it takes a while to figure it out. And tonight he did. But he also finds them quickly and then gets into a shooting lane. There was one where he got it to Leon on the boards, then quickly turned and got ready for a one-timer only about 12 feet away. But he's preparing himself. So you've got to be assertive and you got to be confident when you're playing with a star player. You can't just continue to say, okay, here it is, make me better. You got to want the puck as well. And I thought Arvidsson did a great job with that tonight. And I do like that Knobloch pointed at Podkolzin because he drove the net. And when he's driving hard, that pushes the defenders back. And that creates better passing lanes for Leon and Arvidsson. But that was the best that we've seen of Arvidsson. And I thought Leon had a little jump tonight. I think he only had the one goal, but he easily could have had 4 or 5 points in this game as he created a lot for his line mates.
That was a sick goal, by the way. That shot is
God.
Really, it's just like sick shot. But I think for Arvidsson tonight, what I saw, he was determined to take pucks and shoot pucks to the net. And, he had a lot of good chances, especially twice off the kind of to the right of the netminder. He maybe could have held it a little bit longer and go around and shoot it. I get he hasn't scored in a while, so you're not feeling it. But he was determined to get those shots and to not say, okay, I'm going to try to do an extra pass. I think his job on that line is, as Brownie says, get open and make sure you get the puck to Leon. But then when he gets it to you, you have to get it to the net. Like you got to shoot it. And you want to give it back to Leon. But I think you have to be a bit of a buffer to put pucks to the net so that other people are worried about your shot as much as there is Leon's shot rather than just one guy's shot on that line.
Yeah, the other thing I kind of noticed when I was focusing on him, when he didn't have the puck, like Arvidsson is just always going 100 miles an hour. Like he's a frenetic, speedy player that's like, go, 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 go. So he goes and he gets 100 miles an hour and he gets the puck and then he turns around 100 miles an hour and he makes a play right, and he's like, go, 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 go energy. Whereas Draisaitl's a little more like fading into the spots and this and that. There was one time Arvidsson got the puck and he had time, but he was just vibrating. And like, I can't remember if he bobbled it at that point, but it's almost like I don't know if he's learning to maybe just when you have the puck on your stick, you might have a little more time than you think. Those guys play it at a little bit of a different pace, Brownie. So it's just like the styles of the two players maybe taking a little bit to mesh, just given the pace that they play the game at.
Well, also when you play with Leon or Connor, you're going to have more time on the ice because everyone's focus is on Leon or Connor. So in Arvidsson, normally when he would get the puck playing in LA, he'd be attacked. But when now he's playing with Leon, the first thing everyone in their own zone is doing is like, okay, where's Leon? And then so all of a sudden you do have a little bit more time because nothing against Arvidsson, but they don't fear Arvidsson. They fear Leon Draisaitl. So yeah, he'll learn. The more you play, and that's, again, we went right back to the preseason. We were all shocked
100%.
that line did not play together the entire preseason. They should have been from day one. Just to learn, because it's not easy playing with a star player. And Arvidsson now is slowly starting to catch on. And I imagine at some point you'll see Skinner back up there too, which is, again, surprising to me. It's not now. But I thought Leon and Arvidsson played well together. And good on Podkolzin. Gets a bump up in the lines. And I thought he was good. Mm-hmm. He did what he was supposed to do.
Zuby, do we have Ekholm on Arvidsson? Did I recall? Is that what you said to me, bud?
Sure do.
Okay, let's get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here one more time. The cold is here. Well, it's coming. Chilly the odd day out there. Time to get that garage heated up, right? You can enjoy the luxury of a warm vehicle or a heated man cave or golf simulator this winter. I actually had Weiss Johnson over at the house today. We were having some issues with our fireplace. We gave them a call, sent a crew out right away. They did a great job, got the part they needed, fixed it all up in one day. So big thanks to Dennis and the crew at Weiss Johnson. Visit weiss-johnson.com today. Jingle. Weiss Johnson, whoa. Let's play Matthias Ekholm on Arvidsson, and then I believe we have Stuart Skinner as well, who we will discuss next. So play those back-to-back there, Zoobs.
That's the Victor I know. He's always the hardest working out there. He'll beat you up for icings. He's a pain in the ass to play against. So thought he had a really big night. I thought he, even in the circle, he won that face-off to me. That was very nice to see. And but he's getting more and more comfortable every night, I feel like, where he gets to play here and get chemistry with his line mates. And I think tonight he showed what he can really do. Good kudos to him. He really played a solid night.
You saw their effort. Even when there's 12, 15 seconds left, we were doing everything we can to keep him out of the zone, and that just gives you a lot of pride in the group. We want to do well on our PK, and I know the guys were obviously fighting for me, but fighting for getting a couple kills too.
So solid night from Stuart Skinner, even though he didn't see a ton of action. Brownie, there were a couple saves. And I imagine when you're half asleep, watching the other guy at the other end stand on his head, and then all of a sudden you're facing a breakaway or a quick, guy wide open in the slot. Those can't be easy. But Skinner was good when he needed to be tonight. Any night you pitch a shutout, man, that's a good night.
Well, I think this is two excellent games in a row for Stuart Skinner. I thought he was fantastic against Carolina as well. So it would be tough for a goaltender when you go long stretches without shots and all of a sudden there's just a flash. And that's what happened tonight. The Penguins probably had 2 or 3 shifts in the middle period when the game was still tight. And if he makes a mistake or if one gets by him, all of a sudden, the Penguins have life. And then throw one at the end, the one-timer by, I think it was Letang at the end. That was an absolute bomb. It saved the shutout. And again, the game was over, but that's how locked in Stuart Skinner was. I thought he was good. And again, if you win the specialty teams in the goaltending battles, you win hockey games, and the Oilers won those tonight. So I think there's a lot of players that were able to build on tonight's game, and I think Stuart Skinner certainly is one of them.
I wouldn't say this was a hard shutout for him to get, but he had to have timely saves. I don't know did they have 5 really good chances? 5 Pittsburgh I'm talking about. And I'm not saying he isn't worthy of it, but it wasn't like just a chance after chance after chance. So I think that makes it difficult for him. So nailed it, Brownie. 2 really good performances by Stu Skinner. His save percentage is nearing 900, which is probably close to where he wants to be. So that's one part of the game where probably like, okay, we got probably our goalies back in place. We got Arvidsson getting some points. Looks like him and Draisaitl are figuring things out. Still Hyman. I guess Nuge scored, so that's another one. Power play. I didn't know if I loved it tonight. It was okay. It was maybe better. PK looked maybe better, but again, I don't want to throw too many balloons into the air when you consider just how Pittsburgh played tonight. And that's maybe unfair to the Oilers a little bit, but you got to have a little bit of context when you look at these games.
Yeah, no, I think that's more than fair, buddy. We might have buried the lead, though, a little bit here over the last few games, because in terms of early season storylines that could be, nudging this thing in a pretty positive direction, I would say that Darnell Nurse's play here over the last little bit feels to me like the snarl is there, right? It's not just about the fights, but the fact that he'll take that fight in that game at that score. And I know he wasn't necessarily scrapping with a killer. The fact that he's at a rotating list of partners next to him every single night, like it would seem to me like he's actually handling this pretty well and finding pieces of his game, Brownie, that maybe haven't been there consistently. And I think it's starting to be pretty good signs here from 25. What do you think?
I agree. I think he's been fine. The one thing that we've seen, especially last year, the last half of the season, was the big mistake. Like there were some big mistakes, the wrong pinch or throwing the puck up the middle of the ice or a misread in his own zone. I can't remember a big mistake. And then you add the physicality, getting involved after every whistle, and then taking fights. This is why the Oilers wanted to sign Darnell long term when they did, because he gave them that meanness on the back end with a guy that could transport the puck out of his own zone. So I think Darnell Nurse has had a very nice start to the season when you throw in the fact that he's played with 3 different guys who, none of them are a top 4 defenseman and possibly not a top 6 defenseman. Yet he's been comfortable and he's He's been on the opposite side one game. He played the right side. So I think this is a really good sign for the Edmonton Oilers that Darnell Nurse is playing like Darnell Nurse is capable of playing.
The rest of his game flows when he brings the physicality. And we're seeing that. He's coming out and he's playing hard. And then how often do you see two D-men square off for a draw? Like you rarely see that. I was watching him like, what is this really happening? And then it happens and it's so rare. Like I don't know if I ever squared off with a D-man at any time. Like it's just so rare for that to happen. So good for Darnell. I give Marcus Pettersson credit too. He takes the fight. Yeah. He's a big, long guy, so he's not really going to get hurt as long as he kind of keeps a bit of distance and the visors help, right? But it was, good for. I loved the response by Darnell.
How about McDavid wasting one at the end of the game there with the slash? He took that number. Hey, that guy got him earlier in the game, and he took that number, and and then just went and wasted one at the end. Which good for him, man. Good for him.
But really, you think it was a good? Do you think if they scored in the penalty kill, did they feel
take away a shutout? Was that worth it?
I
don't agree.
I saw that. I
don't mind that at all, you guys.
I don't know if I like.
I do if I'm a goalie having a shutout lost on because my star player took a penalty because he got hit and he wasn't happy. No, I don't like that.
I like that gamesmanship because he walloped him and then he bent over and said something. I want to know what he said to him. Like
he probably was scared. No, he's probably scared. Okay, I hope I didn't get suspended on that. So he's like, "Hey, are you okay?" That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
but
I hear what you're saying about the shutout, but it's not like McDavid does that a lot. I would rather that than just goofy, undisciplined cross checks out of nowhere, that have no point to them. Like he's got to carve out some space for himself, and he doesn't do it often. So
what do you mean he's got to carve out
with you guys? I liked it.
Carve out space when? How does he need to carve out space? Oh, this is Connor McDavid. He has more space than anyone in the National Hockey League.
But what I'm saying, Brownie, is that you get somebody, a number 6 defenseman coming at you and taking a few liberties with you, and you decide, okay, it's a bit of a spread here. I'm going to waste one. I got no problem with McDavid doing that.
You think any other player in the league is going to see that and now say, okay, I'm going to have to back off Connor McDavid because he might slash me?
No.
Well, that's what you just said. He's creating space for himself.
I don't know, man. It happens out there. Skilled players do that for themselves when they need to. We see lots of other skilled players. If guys take liberties with them, they'll do what they have to do to defend themselves. This is not a new concept. Why are you guys looking at me like I got 3 heads here? This happens. Skilled players have to do this sometimes.
I understand that, but I'm saying you got a shutout on the line late in a hockey game. No, because you got hit. No,
I'm the same way. I think that's when you just got to take it because you're trying to get the shutout for your goalie. Like if Letang had scored that one timer, and he's sitting in the box, how long is that skate from the box to your bench? Like, so you slashed the guy in the nuts, and that's what I lost my shutout for. And Stu wouldn't but there's just sometimes
it's McDavid.
All the more reason.
He's built up a little credit with the group. I think guys would understand. Like Connor felt he needed to do that. When Connor feels he needs to do that, he's built up a little credit with the group, guys.
What if Kulak would have done that, or Arvidsson?
It's a little different.
Why?
Connor doesn't hurt the group.
If you're holding everyone accountable the same, but if you're holding everyone the same, I don't know.
It's not the same, Brownie. When's it ever been the same? What are you talking about?
But if you're trying to be a leader on a team, it's got to be the same.
Don't do it all the time. Pick your spots here and there. It's probably the first time I've ever seen him do that.
No, that's not true. But I think at the time of the game, you're a team that's struggling and you got a goalie pitching a shutout, you get him the shutout.
I think I'll say this, guys. I think that something must have happened to bother him because to me it seemed out of character. Connor always seems to know what everyone's trying to go through, right? Someone's going for a shutout or someone's going for a hat trick, or in the case of Hyman tonight, they're force feeding him pucks to try to get him a goal. So I think something, he must have been pissed off for do it because it seems out of character in that moment for.
Well, that kid hit him twice. He hit him twice. Yeah. He knocked him over at center and he knocked him over in the corner. But both clean hits.
Yeah, they weren't that hard of hits. Like
No,
the
no,
one at center.
no.
No,
I mean,
but they got Connor's attention, and he took that number for sure. I like the fact McDavid took a number and got a guy back. You guys make a fair point about the shutout. I'm still okay.
If it was, you know what? If the score is 5-1, I'm fine with it. But a
if it's
shutout,
five,
no.
yeah, 100%.
Fair points. Agree to disagree. They're loving it on the stream. Harry Polinsky says, why is Rob always telling Schauger that he's wrong? Says Harry Polinsky. Love it. Good debate. Let's get to some other stuff. Struddy, we got a Relentless Player of the Night tonight, brought to you by You Can Use Services. If you're looking for laborers for your business, You Can Use Services can help. They'll train 18 to 25-year-olds, getting them ready, willing, and able to join the workforce. Check out their Road to Work program at www.youcan.ca. Who gets the honor bestowed upon them tonight? Struds.
Yeah, for sure, Arvidsson. I thought this was really important for him to have it. And the assists are one thing, but as I talked about earlier, he had a lot of chances to score. And, you know, he was taking the puck to the net, shooting pucks to the net. And I know that seems like you should do that, but he hasn't had a lot of chances. So Arvidsson, I think this is a nice step forward for him. And now we can look Leon in the eye and say, yeah, I have 3 points this year, not 0. And that's a big difference, Brownie, early in the year.
It is. Well, he's going to have to get on a stool to look Leon in the eye. He's a little shorter than Leon, but everything about him too, winning races for icings. And I know that Ekholm talked about that, and that's something that players notice. I mean, Ekholm brought it up by himself in an interview. You notice when a teammate outraces someone for a puck. So yeah, I thought. I mean, again, when they signed Arvidsson, when they got him here, he was the best player for the LA Kings in the last 2 playoffs that the Oilers played against them. I love the way he plays. He makes guys around him better, and I thought he was to me a unanimous choice because he was excellent in this game. Strides 100%.
And by the way, Arvidsson told us after the game, we were asking him about getting run into the wall there by Pettersson, and I guess they're super tight buddies. He's like, he's one of my best friends. And we said, well, did Nurse know that? And he goes, I don't think so. So Darnell Nurse went and beat the wheels off of one of his good buddies in an effort to stand up for him, which, hey, man, it's hockey, I guess, eh?
Yeah, I actually didn't think it was that dirty a play, to be honest.
No.
I didn't think it was.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't think
like,
it was.
I don't
why
think
Nurse
did that.
Because it's his buddy. You're not going to run your buddy head first. And I can't believe Pettersson fought Nurse.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he's ever had a fight before. Like, he's this tall, lanky Swede.
Big guy.
Yeah. Good on him. Good on him for taking the fight.
Arvidsson, I don't know, Brown, but I think Arvidsson was expecting Pettersson to lean on him more. So he really leaned kind of into Pettersson. And he kind of just, oh my God, there's no one there. And he just kind of dropped and fell in. And I didn't think it was like hitting from behind. I don't like this one. Actually, no problem, but I have no problem with Nurse taking it on either. I'm like, you want to do it, buddy? Go for it. Like,
100%.
Problem. Just don't slash a 6th defenseman in the nuts with 1 minute to go. That's all
I got a question. I got a question. I got a question though. What did Nurse get the extra 2 for?
I was wondering that too. Is that
because they both skated to center and dropped their gloves at the same time?
And it's a great question, Brown. We were talking about it. I wonder if the referees and the linesmen, they're all standing out there. They can hear exactly what's going on. And if Nurse very clearly was the one who challenged him, and the refs are standing there, and the other guy's like, I don't know, like, and Nurse is like, we doing this or what? Which he was doing. Nurse said, like, he had his hands up, like, we doing this or what? And the guy's like, all right, fine. So the refs hear all that dialogue. Can they then make the decision? Oh yeah, no, Darnell definitely challenged him and was the one who wanted to fight. And that would have never happened if it weren't for Darnell. So based on the dialogue we all just heard, Darnell gets the instigator. I feel like that's what happened.
I've never heard that in a game, because you should hear some of the things that these guys say to each other. It's a lot worse than that, and they're not. So that's odd. I found it very strange.
I think the instigator should be where you force someone to fight,
Yeah.
not ask. So if you're like, hey, are we going? Because if you jump them, I think that's instigator. If you're like,
so he got
Brandon,
unsportsmanlike. I just checked. Unsportsmanlike is what he got there.
I saw that too, but I don't really understand. I don't understand that whole. Either way, it's fine. It's a good.
Okay,
it's good.
Okay, now you guys, I don't know if you were going to bring it up. That looked like offside to me. I have no idea how that was not offside.
Yeah.
I don't know if the NHL's put anything out yet or not. Because to me, it was like I saw all the freeze frames and everything. It was 100% offside in my eyes, and Mooner's eyes. We were upstairs doing it. And I'm like, I was shocked by that call.
So I saw it's almost like the frames per second weren't quite tight enough. Like there was the one frame where it was still onside, and then you can literally just roll it forward one frame. And by the time when they rolled it forward one frame, both were across the line. So it was like one of them, they hadn't crossed the line yet. The next one, they had both crossed the line and it was onside. So whatever happened in that half frame in between, that's where the answer was. That's what it looked like to me. Struds, you?
Yeah, that's what it looked like came across on TV as well. I thought it was offside just watching it in real time. And then, but that's not good enough. So I don't know. You guys know how I feel about reviews. And but that was a pretty big moment, right? That was a pretty big moment in the game. I think because Oilers really has a great shift. That's just what I talked about. Ground and pound, and keep going. And then for Bouchard to score like that was the goals we are accustomed to see him, scoring, creating a little bit of space and boom, shooting it. So I don't know. I have no idea. I guess it wasn't offside.
That was the breakdown brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers. Nice beefy segment. We went 35 minutes there, guys. So we are heavy and long into the break. Let's grab a break. We got Brownie Points and Struddy's World. We'll do our poll after that as well, Zuby. So quick break, and then we will come back with Brownie Points.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
Time now for Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Their world-famous jerky located right here in Alberta using prime Alberta beef. Available in 14 tantalizing flavors, including that amazing sweet and spicy that went to the International Space Station. Oh yeah, it can be shipped anywhere in Alberta. It's a great game day snack. Hop on to albertajerky.com to order yours and enter code GOTYOURBACK for 10% off. Brownie, I know you can't see the comments, so it's kind of unfair. I can kind of cherry pick whatever comments I want. That's not what I'm trying to do here, but Davin chimes in and he says, Schauger is right. For once. That's for once. Davin
about
agrees
what?
with me
Which point was he giving you a thumbs up about?
I think that came in while we were talking about the McDavid slash there. I think that's when that one came in. There were a lot of supportive comments for you too, Brownie. I just don't want to read them during Brownie Points. So have at her, buddy.
All right. I got 18 Brownie Points for Jesse Puljujarvi in a game tonight that had all kinds of superstars on the Pittsburgh Penguins: Malkin, Crosby, Letang, Carlson. I thought Jesse Puljujarvi and his line mate Lars Eller were the two best Pittsburgh Penguins. I thought Puljujarvi was very good in this game, and I hope that this kid finds a home here in Pittsburgh. I think he's found his role. He is a third-line player. I thought he was excellent in this game. Good for Jesse. I got 2 big Brownie Points to the Oilers' second power play unit. All the talk this week about changing the units, who's going to play with who. They went with the exact same, like we said they should, but what they did, though, was they gave their second unit some more ice time, and their second unit gave them a goal. It was Arvidsson wins a faceoff, Ekholm gets a puck on net, and Corey Perry gets in the eyes of the goaltender. The goaltender did not see that. So good on the Oilers' second power play unit, and I didn't think their first unit was good again tonight. They gave up that shorthanded opportunity against as well. I wouldn't be afraid. I'd start the second unit next game. I got 4 huge Brownie Points to Canadian baseball superstar Freddie Freeman. with a grand slam walk-off homer in the bottom of the 10th tonight to give the LA Dodgers a 1-0 lead in the World Series. Good for the Canadian Freddie Freeman. I got -1 brownie point to Yankee manager Aaron Boone, who intentionally walked Mookie Betts right before Freeman got up to bat. He put Betts on. They pitched to Freeman. Freeman took one pitch, and it went way, way, way out over the outfielder's head for a home run. So -1 because they lost game 1 of the World Series because the manager made, well, an ill-advised move. And last, I got 8 brownie points for Craig McTavish and Randy Gregg. Between the two of them, they have 8 Stanley Cups with the Edmonton Oilers. Congratulations on going into the Edmonton Oilers Wall of Fame.
All right. I'm going to give you an additional 5 because when we asked last podcast what was going to happen to the power play, I thought maybe they would flip guys late in the power play. And I think the first thing out of your mouth was nothing. They're going to roll the same units out. And you definitely nailed that one right on the head. I think, Struds, you might have said the same thing. I think you might have agreed with them. So you guys, you nailed that one for sure. That was Brownie Points, brought to you by our great friends over at Hamel's Beef Jerky. Brownie, Zuby, go ahead and roll it, buddy. Time for Struddy's World.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. Gotta look good.
Until you add it, Zuby, I'm just gonna keep playing it. It belongs.
Yeah, that's fine. I like that.
Time out for Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber House. Tired of those dull cookie cutter houses that scream meh from every angle? At Timber House, they're looking to shake things up. Their designs harness the power of natural light to brighten your days and lift your spirits. Because life is too short for ordinary houses and dull living. Let them build you a place where laughter and good times are part of the blueprint. Visit timberhouse.ca. Struds.
Elias Pettersson, to me, is a really interesting player. Very, very talented. But he hasn't really been going since, let's just call it the new year of last year. Elliot Freeman of Sportsnet said that the Canucks organization, and I'm quoting him, had enlisted Pettersson's own teammates, some of his close buddies, in a plan to make the 25-year-old tougher. So there's been a couple dust-ups. Miller got into it with him in practice now, and then Vinny Darnay actually got into it with him a little bit as well in practice. And this is a really interesting idea because I believe he is a very, very soft player, but he's super skilled. They brought in Jake DeBrusk, maybe kind of beef him up a little bit, play on that line, but it hasn't really worked. And as far as the last game I saw, Jake wasn't even playing with him anymore. So how do you get a guy who I think when things get hard isn't necessarily going to push back? Do you push him in practice? You can. Sends a message. The problem with that is you don't really practice that often, and you don't have drills that are compete drills all the time in practice, so it's hard. So, you just signed him to this massive deal, and now the coaching staff, even Rick said we're going to have him do some things before the practice and after the practice. He's going to work with in specific drills and kind of get himself going, including, he mentioned many times, moving his feet in some of the press time that Rick had today. I worry for the Canucks in this contract because this isn't a month, this isn't a week, this isn't even 6 months. We're now talking about at the end of 1 year and a playoffs that was almost unplayable in the playoffs, and now we're talking about the start of a season where nothing's really changed after a whole offseason when there's some talk about a bad knee. So guys, if you're an Oilers fan, you don't want him to do well. But all this stuff coming out about Pettersson coming up, the good thing is they're winning. Imagine if they were losing more games than they were. It would be a real dust up over there in Vancouver for Elias Pettersson.
You know what doesn't help, Struds, is when it comes out in the press that your management's trying to make you tougher and telling your teammates to make you tougher. That doesn't help a player that if you're considering him soft or not as mentally strong, that's not going to make him better now. That's going to be eating him up inside. That right now, the whole organization doesn't think thinks I'm soft, and now it's public. So now the fans are going to get into it, and the media is going to get into it, and the opposition team is going to talk to him about it. The worst thing that could possibly have happened was that this story broke, and now Pettersson, I mean, he's living this every day, everywhere he goes, I think this could backfire and make it 10 times worse for the Vancouver Canucks with Pettersson.
Let me ask this, and Rishaug, you might know better. Well, you might not want to comment it, but do you think it's just a fluke that information got out, guys?
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Because and this is what I'm going to say, because I'm guessing there was some conversation at the end of the year last year, and even during the season. Hey, we want you to play a little bit more robustly, and I'm not talking about him going out and fighting or running guys, but just getting a little bit more into the battle when things get heavy. Because when I watch him play, when things get heavy, there's not a lot of heaviness in his game. So let's game this out a little bit, though. Let's game this out. So management, whoever, is like, look, we're good with it if you guys are pushing them a little bit, whatever the mechanics of that are. And so the players kind of get the sense like, okay, we got to start pushing this guy. It needs to come from us. Let's start pushing him. So it's calculated, right? And now we're seeing these dust-ups start in practice, and there's all these articles about these dust-ups, and now they've got issues with team chemistry, and things are no good in the room, and that's what starts to come out. So then it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe we should tell them that, so you quote-unquote leak information out or something like that, Struds, is you're kind of somewhat suggesting there. And then it's like, here's the problem, though. I think you create a worse problem. Because if that stuff happens among athletes organically in a competitive environment because they're holding each other accountable and want to be better, that's one thing. But when that's manufactured and targeted at a specific person because of their perceived weaknesses, that's there's nothing organic about that, Brownie.
No, I agree. I think this is going to backfire. If the player that you're talking about, if they feel he's not mentally tough enough, mentally strong enough, and then this is coming out, he's going to go in a shell. Most players would. I mean, you're calling out this player, and there's nothing you can do with this player. You can't trade him. You just gave him a Brinks truck worth of money for a long term. Yeah. When I was reading this article tonight, and I'm like, okay, this is not a good thing for the Vancouver Canucks. You have your players going after him in practice to try and toughen them up. Yeah, no, that makes no sense at all. And I agree with you, Sugar, 100%. Players go at it in practice just because of the competitive nature of players at that level. And they'll go at it, and you'll see fights. And we saw that the Buffalo Sabres, Dahlin and Krebs not too long ago. And then they're all friends afterwards. But if I'm out in the ice and now all of a sudden JT Miller's coming and getting into it my face, and then I got to go in the dressing room, now I know that he did it on purpose because management told him to do it. Yeah, no, I got a problem with that if I'm Pettersson. And this thing does not to me, this thing is going to blow out of proportion because what management perceived was trying to make him tougher.
And one of the other issues too, Struds. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, no, Struds, you go ahead.
No, I would just say this would not be the first thing they do, though, right? I think I'm guessing there've been other attempts to do things. Sure. Listen, I'm not endorsing or not, but if I know what I know of JT Miller, when he looks across the room and seeing this guy with that cap hit not doing what he can do to help the team, I have a hard time thinking JT is going to be like, yeah, it's okay. It's fine, man. You find your game.
But that's fine if JT goes out, does it himself, but not if he's being told by management to go toughen him up. That's two different things.
Well, even the idea that there's any sort of premeditation to it beyond, you get into it with a guy and you're okay pushing that guy because maybe he needs that and you're fed up with him. Like as soon as the organic nature comes out of it and it's premeditated, it loses some of the natural boys being boys thing to it. It's almost like, I don't know. I don't want to use the word bullying, but it's kind of, it doesn't really fit anymore in what would be accepted among the people playing the game. I don't know. Feels a little bit off. So it'll be interesting to see how he reacts. The other thing about Pettersson, I was going to say, guys, he's known to pay really close attention to social media. And though he may be trying to get away from that, if he's diving in on social media right now in the wake of all this, I can only imagine what he might be coming across out there. So Anyways, that was Struddy's World, and a really good one brought to you by our good friends over at Timber House Developments. Before we let you go, Brownie, we're going to get to our YouTube poll because I want your answer. Brought to you by De Boer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center, helping you play better golf since 1999 with their TrackMan fitting bays, instruction, after-sales support, golf merchandise, and clothing. Check out their Pro Shop-style atmosphere, 5311 99th Street here in Edmonton. Zuby, bring it on in, buddy. What did we go with tonight?
All right, looking at tonight's game, I said, whose game tonight specifically gave you the most optimism going forward? The choices are Stu Skinner, Leon Draisaitl, Victor Arvidsson, or Evan Bouchard.
Okay.
I go with
Brownie?
Stu. Oh, sorry. I go with Stu Skinner. I thought this is back-to-back games. They need good goaltending, and I think he's given them 2 fantastic games in a row. So I go with Stu Skinner.
I went with Arvidsson. I think that he showed confidence in today getting points that are really important for him and his line mate Leon.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Skinner too, because he is so critical for this group, and of all the players who you want for it to be turning in the right direction, it's critical that Stu's game goes the right way here in the early going. So I'll go with Stu Skinner on that one. Brownie, great job tonight, buddy. It was fun sparring with you, pal.
It always is. You know that I agree with everything you say. I just do it for the ratings.
Yeah, 100%. No honor in that at all. Just take the opposite position of Ryan, and chances are you're probably right. That's a good way to go. Thanks, Brownie. We'll chat in a couple of days, pal.
All right, see you guys.
All right, that is a great Rob Brown. Okay, quick break. When we come back, our conversation with Craig McTavish from earlier today, and Ask Us Anything. You got her dialed in to Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
So at Timber House, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
Welcome back to the show. Time now for our takeaways, brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. Get in the seat of a John Deere today. Horizon Ag and Turf has 0% financing on John Deere compact utility tractors. Stop by our local dealer today to try one out. You know what they say, nothing runs like a deer. Visit them online at horizonagturf.com. That's horizonagturf.com. All right, big night for Craig McTavish and for Randy Gregg, inducted into the Oilers Hall of Fame tonight. I had an opportunity to chat with Mac a little bit earlier on today, before the ceremony, albeit. But we appreciate his time here from the Weiss Johnson Soundbox. My chat today with Craig McTavish. Well, Mac, the ceremony, full disclosure, we're doing this interview before the ceremony tonight. Congratulations. I'm kind of catching you at a time where you're reflecting right now, trying to figure out what you want to say, kind of going over all that in your head. Right. I imagine this is a huge honor. What are some of the things that you think about?
Oh, just the countless number of people that have helped me along the way, and the relationships I've had with, all my teammates really, but in particular, you know, a handful of guys, 10 guys or so. But you kind of think back of over all these years, just how many people have been impactful in Oiler hockey, and certainly my career from management perspective, ownership perspective, and you know, I seldom reflect back, but something like this gives you cause to do that, and I think it's healthy.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe just a thought, if you can, about Randy Gregg, who's, you know, receiving this honor with you. You know, we don't hear a ton from Randy. He's understated, but he's very much in this community. He's been in this community the whole time. He's dedicated to it, committed to it. Just a thought about going in with him and maybe what this place means to him, and I know you guys share that.
Well, it didn't take long to see in full display why he was such a good hockey player here today. Very thoughtful words, super bright guy, and you know, applied that intellect to the game of hockey. I mean, he was, you know, overshadowed by some of the bigger names, and maybe a little underappreciated. I mean, he in a fast paced attack style hockey, you need guys that are going to defend, and he and Kevin Lowe, certainly Charlie Huddy, were three of the best.
He told a great story about putting a reporter up against the wall once, which I kind of get the feeling maybe you would have liked to have done a couple of times. You respect him for that?
Well, yeah. I was wondering if it was anybody still in that room, Ryan, but you and I have had our ups and downs over the years, but we're all good now. Oh, yeah. I mean, I do remember that coming out in the hockey news, and it was, I mean, it wasn't something that you could slough off easily if it was being said about you, and that reporter definitely deserved it. But that's what happens when you have reporters that aren't used to covering hockey teams. Sure. You know, you're subjected to that type of stuff, and you know, never more so than in today's quick media era.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure all of us have deserved it at one point or another. We listened to Kevin Lowe and some of your old teammates talking about you today, Craig. I know you probably don't love talking about yourself, like is the case with a lot of you. But when you reflect back on the role that you played on the ice for your group and the responsibilities that you were given, which piece of it would you say you think back on with the most pride, the part of your game?
Oh, I felt like I played better in bigger games, and I took a lot of pride in doing that. I could raise the intensity level in the bigger games, and largely back in those days they were all in Calgary or against Calgary here. But you know, they're just, I mean, I can't believe that I played here for the 10 years that I played here, and really played virtually the same role, and you don't do that without a tremendous amount of support from Glenn Sather, for sure. He gave me a lot of support over my career as a player and as a career as a coach and a manager, for sure. So I can't help but think how big a role he's played in the fact that I get to this position and have had the tenure that I've had in the game so far.
For people who've played on different teams, you sort of know there's different personality types in a locker room. You got the goofy guy, you got the glue guy, you got the leaders, you got the different types in there. What kind of person would you say you were in that locker room within that group?
Well, that's a good question. I've never really thought of that. I mean, I would think I was a good teammate. I always say that, you know, you can always be a better teammate. We're all a little inherently selfish, where it's built into the DNA. But to be able to put that aside and do things that, for the betterment of the group and the team, that's an important quality, and support your teammates. And, you know, that's the leadership example that I use today with Wayne and Mark and Kevin and Koff, that, you know, there was a ton of support. And you know, those guys had your back, and I mean, it sounds a bit cliche, but back in those days you needed them. And You know, they all played the game the right way. There was, you know, I mean, Wayne Gretzky's the best player of all time, and Mark Messier's got the second most points. I mean, those guys, but they had not one bit of selfishness in them, and that's pretty incredible.
We'll finish with this, Mac. I got to ask you this because, you know, you have been a stalwart in supporting this community. You've always, you know, from when you were playing to when you were coaching to when you were managing, you always sung the praises of this place. And now we're in a time where it feels like kind of the rest of the league and other people are maybe seeing that, where Edmonton is viewed a little bit different now than maybe it was before. But you've maintained that from the start. It's just maybe a thought on your sense of pride, playing here, being here, but what this place is really about and the fans that are here.
Well, a lot of it, it's the quality of the people that separate, you know, Edmonton and Alberta, really. I mean, I said that last night over at Bob Nicholson's. It's the people are great here, and we share a perspective on what's right, and you know, in a pretty crazy world these days. You know, it's quite crazy out there, and Alberta, to me, is a place where we have a pretty rational perspective on right and wrong. I mean, I talked about Wayne having, you know, Walter's and Phyllis's principles. I mean, he treated everybody well, and it didn't matter what you did, and it kind of follows the people that live here in Alberta. And I mean, the hockey team and the quality of the players here now, I mean, makes it super attractive, because the number one thing that having fun in the NHL, which I don't think the players today have as much, but is winning. And, you know, this team's built to win. And, you know, as the Oilers were back in the early 80s and right through to the early 90s. And, you know, it was a destination spot. All this down here that Daryl Cates put up. And, I mean, it's the River Valley. It's a wonderful place to live.
Well, you've watched a lot of your teammates being honored over the years, but tonight it's your turn, and it's Randy's turn. And I know you'll enjoy it, Mac, but I know you also got a speech to write, so we'll let you go get to it. Don't forget to thank Sparky.
You were helping me with it.
Congrats, Mac.
All right. Thank you, Ryan.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we've come a long way, Strud. Me helping Mac with his speech today from where we were back in the day when he was coaching. It was a little more tense back then.
Yeah. No, I coached for a long time, right? Long time in this market. That's not easy. What was it, 8-9 years? That's a long run.
Yeah, but I remember even back in those days where, I mean, they weren't winning anything. It was the decade of darkness. He would speak about Edmonton like those guys lived it. Like, they stayed here. They were here. There were a bunch of them that stayed here. They have felt the same way about Edmonton through all of that. And now it does feel like the rest of the league, and I know the new building and the revitalization, and that has a lot to do with it as well. But that's the one thing you got to say about some of these longtime Oilers Struds who have stuck around. They are so loyal to this city.
Yeah, to the city and the team, right? Kevin, Craig McTavish, Charlie Huddy, like all these guys, and you know, even the guys that are, you know, don't live here, like Mess comes back, you know, Wayne comes back, you know, Yari and Finland, he's been back. Like they do it seems to pull them back, right? Or they stay. Yeah. So I mean, it's special because I grew up idolizing those guys, and now I count them, some of them amongst friends of mine. So it's pretty cool to see that, and for them to be here, still here, it means a lot.
Yeah, it was a crazy busy day for Randy and for Mac T today. Right. So thanks again, Mac, for taking a few minutes to chat with us. And that was Takeaways, brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. Some other action going on around the NHL tonight, Struds. Let's get to our scoreboard, brought to you by Canadian Club in honor of the founding year of the Canadian Club Distillery, 1858. The Canadian Club Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58% ABV for all of you whiskey connoisseurs out there. The highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date. Full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with butterscotch as a finish. Very smooth. Struddy, what else happened tonight, buddy?
Bit of a light night in the NHL. 14 games tomorrow, only 4 tonight. So we know the outcome of one. The only other two that are kind of would be interest to people in the West would be Vegas beats Ottawa 6-4. It was weird. It was a Nevada day today. So the game was really early, which I didn't know there was such a thing as Nevada day. So that game started an afternooner, which is kind of interesting. And then you've got the Preds getting another win this year over the Blackhawks.
Slowly building.
Slowly, but they get it done. Of interest in that, Connor Bedard got a nice little goal, a little 5-hole goal. But yeah, later night, but tomorrow 14 games. So buckle up. The Oilers are back in action on Sunday. Detroit, 30 game for.
And what else was there? There's the Islanders 4-3 over the Devils as well. Did you say that one?
Yeah.
Sorry if I missed that.
No, I didn't. It was it's those two New York teams, and they're fighting for their life. Yeah.
All right, that was our scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. Zuby, why don't you hop on in here, buddy? We've had a nice active chat going on the stream tonight. Lots of people engaged. Some debates as to whether or not we actually deserve thumbs up. So, I mean, listen, if you don't want to give us a thumbs up, by all means, we're not going to beg for it. But if you're enjoying what you're listening to, click it. It's easy for you, right? Ask Us Anything's brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies. Founded in 1976, they're a full-line distributor providing great wholesale electrical products for use in industrial, commercial, and residential settings. Proudly owned and operated in Edmonton. Visit bjelectric.ca. Time for our favorite segment of the show, and Zuby hops into the big box, and he lets us know what the people are saying, Zuby.
Good suggestion here from JL. He says that Mac T should host the roast of Schauger whenever that comes up, I think.
Endless material.
Okay, Oilers diehard. It says, can someone just bank a puck off Hyman to get him rolling? He's working hard and just can't get one in. Do you think that's how it's going to come, Struddy?
Yeah, he is going to the net, and they're trying to feed him. You can see there's a 3-on-1 at the end. Leon clearly had a shot and chose to slide it over to what I would feel was a covered Zach Hyman, but they're trying to get him. Just one goal, like 1-2 isn't a big difference, but 0-1 is a massive difference. And he's going to score for the Oilers this year. He's going to score lots of goals, but he cannot buy one right now at all.
I love the fact that Chris Knobloch loaded up McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman in what was it, a 4-0 game at the time or whatever it was, just to try and get Zach off the old schneid. Like that touch from the coach.
Jake the Snake 9 says, hey, Schauger, do you know if George Mumford is still with the team? I was thinking about that too. What's his role? Is he involved this year?
Yeah, I have seen him around a couple of times this year. He'll come into town and he'll be here for we'll see him around for a week or so and then he'll leave. We saw him multiple times last year. So yes, he is. I'm not sure exactly what his title is, but he helps everybody keep their heads square and screwed on straight and focused, and has worked with some of the greats in multiple sports over the years. So yes, he is. Saw him maybe a week and a half ago.
Okay. Josh on Twitter chimes in, says Kulak Emberson was an extremely impressive pair tonight. Keep them together and develop. Emberson will need him. What did you guys think of the play of that third pairing tonight?
Yeah, it was an easier night, but there was a lot of nice things. Brownie's challenged Emerson's ability to handle the puck, and I thought he had to do a good job today. He made quite a few plays. I was watching for that, but he needs to play. You need to keep him in there. Again, of the three guys, Dermott, Stetcher, Emerson, he has the longest road ahead of him, or potential road of an NHLer, and leave him with Kulak. Just leave him there. Don't move him up. You'll figure that out at the trade deadline. Let this guy get his legs underneath him with this team, get confidence, and more importantly, get on a roll.
See, this is where you and we agree that he needs to play, but we diverge a little on what the timeline looks like, Struds, because to me, I don't think they can wait until the trade deadline and keep playing Stetcher and Dermott in the second pair. I do not believe that's going to hold that long. My belief is play Emerson right now every single game. Play him in the third pair every single game. Let him get comfortable. Let him find his game. And he's going to inherit that spot probably by the middle of December, just because he's going to be better than both those guys by then. But they got to just keep him comfortable, let him play right now, and let him grow into it, because he's going to get there before the end of this calendar year.
Interesting comment here from Ro Nelson. Ask us anything with Utah losing Marino and Dursey. The top 4D competition is getting crowded, and there isn't a whole lot out there. Jackson Bowman starting to sweat. Market is shrinking. And I just saw something today, too, that the Habs are looking. Well, everyone's looking to upgrade at second pair right D. But does the market shrinking become a problem at some point in time? Or I think they're just willing to wait it out?
The Habs trained for a D-man on expiring contract makes no sense to me. They're not that good.
Yeah.
Utah, you're losing one D, you can replace them. You're losing two. That's a pretty big thing. So let's see how they go. You want to give that team a chance if you're the GM. Do you go out and actively try to get someone? Perhaps, but you're not missing one, you're missing two. Now one will be back. It sounds like the other one won't be back. Were they a playoff team? Do you believe they're a playoff team? If you do as a GM, then you got to push, but it's I for sure the Habs trading for someone. They'd have to be trading for someone with term if they're going to do it. And then on the flip side, you got Utah. I mean, I guess maybe, but that's a tough division.
Like the Oilers have a choice. It's not like the Oilers have a choice. Like for them to go and try and add a top four defense. I mean, they don't have the cap space to do that. And the only thing that earns them that cap space is to just keep playing, a little bit shy on the cap and building and building and building and building and building. There was a good tweet from Hart Levine, our friends over at Puckpedia today, that outlines if the Oilers just keep their roster as it is, having sent Arvidsson down, I think they'll be able to add a cap hit in the vicinity of $5 million, something like that, $4.5 million at the deadline. That's now if they run into injury troubles and got to call other people up, that will change. So if you think they're working from a baseline of $4 to $5 million in cap space, and then they can get somebody to eat 50%, 25%, it's possible they could be adding a player in the $4 to $7.5, $8 million range. But there are not a lot of those guys out there, Struds. Like it's just the year we're in. Like who are the guys you're going to go and trade for? And you got to wait and see which teams are still in there. So
time. It needs time for teams to sort out and can get a little spread in the standings, and you can start looking at it. What
do you think of Provorov, Struds, by the way, as I sort of throw that in out of left field?
I've never really liked him as a player. I don't know. He's not my kind of guy. I don't know. I've never liked him. I can't say what it is. I've just never liked him as a player. I don't know why. And I wanted to like him, and he makes a lot of sense. Where is he? Columbus, right?
Yeah, Columbus.
And so
I did that for you. I did that for Colin Williams. I've been getting trolled on the stream. They're wanting some suggestions on top four guys. So that aren't named Cam Fowler.
Yeah. Cam Fowler's a good D-man. Is he the type that is going to take you deep in the playoffs? I'm not sure. He's not a very big guy. Provorov's a little bit stockier, a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
I've never really liked his game. I don't know. I've wanted to.
Can we both agree? Can we both agree he'd be better there than anything they currently have, though? I mean, they would actually be putting a veteran top four NHL defenseman in the spot.
No, and that's fair. But I'm not just, if I'm doing it, I want to get it right. Otherwise, don't bother. You're wasting assets and it's not going to work, right? So find, like, the Ekholm trade was perfection, absolute perfection.
Whoa. Hang on. Are you saying that if they can't find the perfect fit, don't upgrade the D, just stick with what I completely disagree. They have to do something.
So, but you are the type of person that goes to a garage sale and is walking off of that street with something. You got to buy something. Where I'm saying they have something. They have three somethings already. Stetcher, Dermott, Emberson. They have somethings. So unless you're getting a legit top four D man, don't bother. You've already got those guys. They don't need depth. They've got it. So, Fowler would be better than what they have. But is he the guy that's going to bring it every single game beside Darnell Nurse?
Another name that's come up a couple of times tonight, Taylor Zottel, and now Shane Matheson saying Ryan Graves. I don't know. I don't know his. I know he's a left-hand shot. First of all, he's a huge dude. I don't know if he plays right D, but he's a player I've liked.
I feel like he's a soft player.
Yeah, shoots left, 6'5", 220 some pounds. Yeah, for his size, Strud's too soft.
I feel like it. And I don't think that's what they need. I think they need a guy that can move the puck beside Darnell. And I know that So Fowler does fit that bill. There's no doubt about it. He fits it, but he's a
just
lefty as well.
to clarify, Struds, if they don't think they can find the perfect fit, you would say stand pat at the trade deadline and go with what you got with the team that went to Game 7 of the Cup final last year in its window in the last year.
Okay. It's midnight on Friday night. I don't want to get into a huge conversation. I think this is a fair one to have because there's different areas. So I'm not trading a first rounder for someone who is a 5th spot to play beside Darnell. Like that doesn't make sense. I want to get it right. So and so you want to make a trade, go make a trade, but you're throwing away a first rounder. That's not fixing the problem. So yeah, you want to get Cam Fowler, sure, let's bring him in. But I see the answer. I don't know. I don't know if he's that guy, right? The Oilers last year had size and they had guys that can move it around. The answer is probably the guy who's playing in St. Louis from right now. So to answer your question, Shagger, yeah, I'd still make a trade, but I'm not throwing everything I can at something that doesn't fit.
Ace 96 says Jason is right a lot. That is why he has to keep piping up. So yes, you got a supporter there in Ace 96 or in in Ace 96.
I don't have answers.
Zuby, we kind of what's that?
I don't have the problem is I don't have answers. I'm just saying no to a lot of people, but because I want to get it right. It does. If you get that right, maybe the right guy is in San Jose. Maybe it's number 5 there. Bring him back.
Okay, Zuby, one more because we railroaded this segment with a bit of a debate there. So give us one more and then we'll wrap up with our play of the day.
Okay, I'm going to go to this one then if this is my last one. Davin asked us anything. Has Struddy ever had to fight a friend? Or you, Shogger? You had some tilts too.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I love that question.
Yeah. Shane Doan, one of my good buddies, fought him. Not even, and he kind of started it, but whatever. Like it's... You just do it, and luckily neither of us got hurt. My hands are pretty sore, still pretty sore about that one. But no, it's funny when you're on the ice, you're just kind of somebody else. And then, like I got up the ice, I didn't really hold a grudge. I just to him or to anyone I fought. Really, I was like, we're on the ice. I was running around when they were playing. He told me a story. I was running around and he was playing for Phoenix and I was in Vancouver. And their coach, Schoenfeld, came down and said, "You're going to play against that guy for the next 10 years. Someone better step up and take him." And his mister's like, "I'm out." So Donor's like, "I'll do it." And he did it. And that was it.
And how did it go, Struds? Honest assessment of the tilt. I mean, Donor is ridiculous strong.
Yeah. Well, I'm no slouch. I tossed him around for about a minute, so I beat him. There's no doubt. He might have a different story, but yeah, I took him to school.
I'll be texting him for his half of that story. Love it. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by our great friends over at BJ Electric Supplies. All right, let's wrap up the show.
Before we wrap the poll, too, we'll do the poll.
Oh yeah.
I also wanted to send a couple shout outs. We're incredibly international. We got at least 2 people. In Australia, Kevin, this is a good one. Kevin Bentoro says, "Hello from Sydney, Australia. Currently sitting in my car while my baby naps. Great win today, go Oilers." So we got a couple people from Australia on the stream. We got DC, we got Laos, we got Myanmar. We got our friend Matt Blom, always in from Vancouver. I think we might convert him to an Oilers fan. He's a Canucks fan. Okay. He's on the stream like every night, and he's great in the conversation. And so lots of fun on the stream tonight, and great to have everybody. And we know Shane Matheson, he's in Louisiana, and someone's all the way in Calgary. I already forgot who. Is it Neil Garrity? Someone's in Calgary anyway, all the way down there. So thanks for everyone wherever you are. We could do this, especially on a slow night. Everyone can fire in where they're coming from, but it's super cool how international our audience is. The poll tonight was whose game tonight gave you the most optimism going forward. Arvidsson was running away with this. He still won it. He got 45% of the vote. Stu Skinner in at 41, Draisaitl 10, and Bouchard only won 300 votes. Brownie is very influential in the poll because he really made it. He made a big case for his Got Your Back fan experience the other night. Now maybe his was the best anyway, but he completely landslided the rest of us. And tonight I felt like Arvidsson was running away with it, and he had made some good points for Stu, and then Stu almost caught up. So Brownie very influential on the poll.
I mean, I recall throwing a vote behind Stu as well. Maybe that's,
Yes.
Why does it have to be Brownie's idea
correct.
that made everyone want to pick
that.
Stu? Whatever, right. Zuby. Whatever. Let's wrap up the show with our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience and see how the team at Gallery Dental has your comfort and well-being as their top priority. Modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date sedation, implants, and so much more. Give them a call or check them out online, gallerydental.yeg.com. What do we like tonight, Jason?
Got to go back to the baseball game, guys. That game was incredible. Freddie Freeman. If you didn't see the game, Brownie kind of outlined it, but basically, bases loaded, pitcher comes in, throws one pitch, Freddie hits it all the way to Disneyland. Like, it was absolute bomb. He held his hand in the air with the bat in the air, did the round. It was a great moment. And I don't care if you're a fan of baseball, just sports in general. It was such a great moment and a historical moment that may carry momentum for Dodgers right through this series.
I got to be honest with you. I have not even seen the highlight yet. So now that we're wrapping up, I'm going to go watch it. I mean, I went straight from the game to the post game to the car to here to the pod.
For sure.
I can't wait to see it. Yeah, even I'm not the biggest baseball guy, but that sounds like a moment. And that is our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. It is exactly 12 o'clock on the button, Struds. Let's get you to bed, buddy. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
All right. We'll chat again real soon. Zuby, great job there, my friend. Thanks to all of you for joining us on the stream tonight. Great conversation. Awesome. We love it. If you so see fit, throw us a like on the way out, and we'll chat again in a couple of days. This has been Got Your Back, presented by our good friends, our title sponsor, Play Alberta. See you soon.
We got the Gretzky likes right now. We need one more for 100.
99?
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
I'll hit it.
There it is. We got it.
All right. Night, everybody.